So today seems like a good day to make this video because part of it is going to become apparent. But I'm at Bude Golf Club today and I'm not playing golf for a very, very specific reason. And it's one that is probably the reason why I've taken a break from YouTube for so long. So those who've watched Dan's podcast, where I did a podcast with Dan not long ago, will know this story. But this is the reason that I've pretty much not put a video out since July, and why I'm now just starting to get back into doing YouTube, because it's taken a while and it's taken some big decisions to make me want to come back and do it, but also the reasons why I was away. Well, the weather's not great today. It's pissing down, so I'm going to go and get my waterproofs on. But basically, so I turned pro to coach at Ashbury. That was the reason I wanted to turn pro. I left Ashbury, went to Dartmouth as the head of golf eventually, and then left there, and then started working for Dan in October of last year. So it was still worth to keep the pro status at that point. Problem was, come February, the finances of YouTube weren't working out. And me and Dan came to the decision that I would no longer do the work I was doing for him, and that I would take up YouTube full time. So in February I made that decision. But as I take a seat on my car, unfortunately, the money that was being earned by YouTube at the time was about £500-600, and I gave myself a year to be able to get to a place where it would earn me enough money to then support the family, basically be a full-time job, because I had a little bit of savings available that I'd sort of been putting by. But unfortunately then the cost of living crisis happened and basically turned that 12 months into 6 months, and I was never in a million years going to be able to get YouTube to a position that it would pay like a full-time job in those 6 months. So in order to compensate that, I took up Amazon delivering, so I started doing that for 3 months. But the problem with that is it's just such hard work, and I was finishing at like 9:30 at night, so I was never seeing the baby, so it was never something that I could sustain. So I had to then make a choice around about July time as to what I was going to do going forward. So it was at that point that I made the decision to leave the golf industry as work, stop my PGA, and then to take up a full-time role and a full-time job away from golf, which I did at the beginning of August. But the other part of it was that I started hating golf because I was working in it. The only time I could play competitive golf was in a pro event. I wasn't good enough to compete with the likes of James Ruth and Paul Hendrickson and all that kind of thing. So I ended up absolutely hating golf. I went to Spain in June with the guys from Whitsunday Bay, like I always go to. Sorry, it's just really shaky. And I really, really enjoyed it and realised that that's the part of golf that I enjoy, the hobby part of it, the playing golf with friends, the playing golf with Dan and Lester, and not the competitive side of it, and being pressured to play pro events because you have to. And then also the thought of paying another £5,000 for the last year of the PGA. It just seemed pointless because I was never ever going to go back and work in golf. And the thing is though, these weren't easy decisions to make, because obviously I'd put a lot of financial sort of money into the PGA. Obviously there was support from you guys for my year one, which I'm forever thankful for. So I had that sort of questions and weighing on my mind when I made these decisions. But ultimately I had to do what was right for me, I had to do what was right for the family, and that ultimately came down to finances, and I required a full-time job, so that's what I did. So I started a Monday 9 till 5 or 8 till 5 job, Monday to Friday, and been doing that since August. Now I gave up golf from July and took that back up again end of October. Played 3 rounds, going to start putting my scorecards in, did a 9 over, a 7 over and a 4 over, so I think probably around 6 will be my handicap for the time. All those have taken account. So yeah, I'm just going to get back to enjoying golf as a hobby, and the reason I'm here today is as captain of the Will Salver team, was because I thought I could play, but unfortunately I've got to wait 6 months. So my last event was in July, so I can't play an amateur event now until January. So I've just come to support the team, still the captain, but it's this sort of thing that I miss more than anything. Going to Opens, playing in leagues, playing in cup matches, that's what I miss. I miss playing it with the guys and going away to the Opens. So I've now decided I'm going to take golf up more for my fun and my own enjoyment rather than as a job. I'm going to do YouTube for fun, I'm going to do golf for fun, and I've got my work completely separate from it. So what does that mean for the channel? Well, it means I'm just going to do it for fun. I'm not going to chase numbers, I'm not going to chase subscribers. I'm going to do it for what I started it out for, which was for a bit of fun, and then sort of over time it's kind of evolved into a job and other things, which, don't get me wrong, I've absolutely loved the last sort of 2 or 3 years of doing YouTube. But with the working in the golf side of things, the YouTube and all that, I just kind of lost love of golf. It just became a chore as opposed to a hobby or a sport I enjoyed playing. In the summer I took up cricket and started playing, well, I didn't take it up, I went back to playing cricket for a local team in the summer. I really enjoyed that, and that sort of cemented in my head what it was I enjoyed about golf, which was the social aspect of it. It was the having fun with your friends, it was the, you know, having a laugh. And golf had just become a little bit too serious for me, and it was quite apparent that I wasn't going to start working in the golf industry again, so there was no real need to complete the PGA and kind of waste £5,000 on the last year for a qualification I really wasn't going to use, and at that time I really didn't want. So yeah, looking forward to the next year, looking forward to getting my amateur status back. I'm looking forward to getting involved in YouTube again. You know, I've got a Pro-Am next year in France with Dan and Lester, where I'm the amateur and rather than the pro, so you know I can go and enjoy that. Because I mentioned previously that I wouldn't really go and play Pro-Ams because I felt sorry for the amateurs that would have me as the professional. So yeah, and I just want to say a big thank you as well to you guys, because you've given me loads of support. The guys who watch Dan's podcast, I've seen the comments that people have been writing on the last video I put out, going, where are you, you know, all that kind of stuff. And you know, positive comments. There's always going to be negative comments. That is the nature of the beast, unfortunately. But I've done this for all the right reasons, and that is my family, because they have to come first. They ultimately are the reason I go to work and I earn money and all that kind of thing. So, you know, if in 2, 3, 5 years time YouTube becomes a viable full-time job again, I may revisit it, but I'm certainly not going to revisit professional golf, that's for sure. I'm certainly not going to revisit working in the golf industry unless it's a role that appeals to me, because I'm more of a manager, I'm more of an organizer, I'm more of a, you know, stats man, that kind of thing, and looking in that dynamic of it, on how to best look at the analytics, how to best manage people, and that's why I've become an operations manager at a local company, because it's something that I'm qualified to do, it's something I've got experience in doing. So for me to get back into the golf industry, it would have to be a role that appealed to that side of it, not working in a shop or coaching or fitting. You know, I loved my time fitting, absolutely loved it. I still do enjoy that side of it, but it's just not going to work for me. So yeah, so I want to say a big thank you to the PGA Tour, although I'm wearing a pink raincoat because PGA Tour don't do them. But a big thank you to the PGA Tour, who've supported me over this sort of 4 months by not really getting on my back for videos, because you know, I announced a sponsorship and then went super quiet. I've done a few Instagram posts and things, but going forward, there are plans with the PGA Tour for things for us to do, for hopefully events for us to do, and that's all pretty exciting, the stuff I said in that sponsorship video. But for now, I've got to go back, support the team, because it's a pretty tight match against China Fleet, to be honest. It's a very tight match. The Will Salver is our 12 handicap and below Cup foursomes competition. It's something I've really wanted to play in for a number of years, but never had the chance because I always played in the Cornish Bowl team because I was always over 12, and then as I got sort of below 12, I never really got involved in playing that side of it. So if we get through this, the next match is in January, at which point I'll be able to play that match because my 6 months would have lapsed from my last professional event. So next year is going to be an exciting year. A lot of opens to go to, a lot of travelling around and playing with my friends here. Hopefully more stuff involved with Dan because I know he's sort of taken, not a step back, but he's turned his channel more into a put stuff out when I want to put stuff out rather than the day-to-day churn that YouTube can become. It can become draining, it can become stressful. It's completely unstable. It's the most unstable industry in the world unless you're at such a level where money's no option. So yeah, that's the update. I just want to say thank you for the people who've stuck around and are still subscribed to the channel. It does really mean a lot to me. There has been some new subscribers coming in, obviously not many, but I'm not putting videos out, so that's to be expected. So welcome to those people to the channel, and you will see going forward some more reviews coming out in the January when the new clubs are here. There will be a what's in the bag coming soon for my sponsorship, my club sponsor that I never actually got round to doing. Again, those have been super helpful and super supportive over this time as well. So I do have things in the pipeline that I want to get doing, get back into it. I needed that time to refresh the brain. I needed to step away from it and remember what it was that I enjoyed about doing it, rather than the fact it just became the biggest chore in the world. It was stressful because it wasn't earning me enough money, and I was going to be in trouble very quickly if I didn't make this decision. So I hope you support that decision. I know some of you who have supported me in that first year may not see that as what you wanted to come out of it, but ultimately I've got to make these decisions that support my family and that support me, and not risk all of that because of a dream to become a professional golfer or a dream to be a YouTuber. The YouTuber can still happen. The professional golfer, I've done it. It's not for me. I want to go back to just enjoying my golf. So there's been some new subscribers coming in, obviously not many, but I'm not putting videos out, so that's to be expected. So welcome to those people to the channel, and you will see going forward some more reviews coming out in the January when the new clubs are here. There will be a what's in the bag coming soon for my sponsorship, my club sponsor that I never actually got round to doing. Again, those have been super helpful and super supportive over this time as well. So I do have things in the pipeline that I want to get doing, get back into it. I needed that time to refresh the brain. I needed to step away from it and remember what it was that I enjoyed about doing it, rather than the fact it just became the biggest chore in the world. It was stressful because it wasn't earning me enough money, and I was going to be in trouble very quickly if I didn't make this decision. So I hope you support that decision. I know some of you who have supported me in that first year may not see that as what you wanted to come out of it, but ultimately I've got to make these decisions that support my family and that support me, and not risk all of that because of a dream to become a professional golfer or a dream to be a YouTuber. The YouTuber can still happen. The professional golfer, I've done it. It's not for me. I want to go back to just enjoying my golf. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your support. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your support.